Hello and welcome to Mayhem with your host, Mimi.
I spent years trapped by fear. Fear of hurting my kids, my spouse, my parents. Fear of my potential. Fear of myself. Fear of letting people down. Fear of not handling my money. Fear of losing everything. I know people still consistently trapped by fear, and I have tried to talk them out of it, much to my frustration. Fear is very good at cornering you and trapping you in cages of shame, in neglect, and conformity, and oppression. I'm sorry. But that's not the point. Fear is about protection and propulsion. Fear is gunpowder, creating insurmountable momentum. Use fear, embrace fear, honor fear, and recognize fear. And triumph or fail, fear will embrace it all and never leave you. Used wisely, fear is the ultimate tool. So how? How do you use your fear? Number 1, you face your fear. You be honest about why it scares you. So when I was getting a divorce from my second husband, I had to be honest with myself first. I knew something wasn't right. I knew I wasn't happy. And I didn't know why. So I had to be honest with myself first. I was not happy. I was afraid because while I was not happy in my marriage, it was safe and it was secure, and financially we were on stable footing, but I wasn't happy. So what do you do next? You embrace your fear. So I embraced the hope that maybe if I made these big, huge changes in my life, I wouldn't be happy. That I embraced the possibility of the unknown instead of staying in the known because it was safe. I embraced the danger of potential instead of remaining on the foundation that we had built. And then you act. You act based on instinct. You let that be your shield. And you know you've already thought about the worst. So it hasn't been easy since I got a divorce. I fell apart in more ways than one. I've been depressed. I've been sad. But at the end of the day, I'm in a much better place. I'm in a much better headspace. And I have the possibility of being supremely happy in the future. So that's what I was thinking about this week, with all the virus and everything happening and everybody being quarantined. And I haven't been quarantined. I've had to go to work every day. And while I enjoy my job, it scared me to go to work every day because I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't be there for my kids. And I know that they're scared because they're not going back to school next week. And I know that I'm scared, and I just couldn't be there for my family in the way I wanted to be there for my family because I had this big obligation of having to drive an hour to go to work and having to drive an hour back. And I couldn't be as present as I wanted to be. And it's been big and it's been scary. And I finally just got the email that said that if I needed to, I could take family leave. And I might do that next week. I might split it with my ex-husband. But it's been a very scary week. And so, talking about fear and thinking about fear all week and embracing it and knowing what you're up against and embracing that possibility has been the only thing that's kept me sane. The book I wanted to talk about today is by one of my favorite authors. His name is David Wong. He goes by that name because David is the most common boy name. I don't know where he got that, but that's what he said in the book. And Wong is the most famous last name. So that's what he went by. The dude's actual name is Jason Pargin. He is one of the people who goes on Cracked all the time, and he's really thoughtful in his politics, and he's thoughtful in what he has to say, and he's thoughtful in his articles. And I really love listening to him talk, and I really love reading him even more. So he wrote a book a few years ago called John Dies at the End about this strange, weird, ramble drug trip. And then the second book in the series is the book I want to talk about today, and it's called This Book is Full of Spiders. Dude, seriously, don't touch it. And it's a beautiful book, and I think it's the best in his series because it's about fear and paranoia, and there's these invisible spiders, and nobody can see them but David because he has this drug. And he ends up in quarantine, and it's a whole thing. And it's just a beautifully written book about being scared of what you can't see. And so that's my book recommendation this year, or this week. And yeah, fear is gunpowder, and if you let it use you, if you use it, it will give you momentum. And if you ignore it, you're just going to be trapped in the cage. So dear fear, please help me learn how to use you to create the best possible me. And that's all I have to say this week. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you next week. Bye.